everyone. Thanks for joining us on yet another one of Insight's Tech Talks. I'm Dennis Lewis. I am a senior manager here managing the alliance relationship between VMware and Insight, ultimately managing the professional and managed services as it relates to EUC and user computing here today. And I have the pleasure of being joined here with my friend, my colleague, Amit Harjani. Go ahead, Amit, please introduce yourself.
Hey Dennis, thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it. Yeah, like Dennis said, part of the end user computing group at VMware, focusing on Workspace One and helping our partners in the channel accelerating their practices and maturing those models to help drive more revenue and more services with our channel partners.
Awesome. Well, everyone, we have a lot to cover today. I think primarily it's a new world at which we're all living in. A lot of different exciting times here in the IT side, especially around end user computing. Some organizations staying 100% remote, some organizations going back, understanding what that delicate balance is. What we wanted to do is highlight some of the different scenarios, some of the challenges, some of the different projects that we're working on with multiple partners, but primarily our kind of go-to-market between Insight and VMware and what those relationships and the value that we bring to our end clients. So Amit, I know there's a lot on the table that we can discuss in regards to some of the different projects we're working on, but is there in regards to remote work, safe return to the office, what are some of the different ideas and projects that VMware's focused on?
Well, let me start by saying like last March, we had a big shift in the way we operate in business, just all companies, no matter if you're in IT, manufacturing, retail, brick and mortar, everyone had a big sudden change to the way they do business. And it impacted both how they interface with their current customers, as well as how their employees worked without being in the office and going back to home. So VMware had the same experience. We're a large global company, 30,000 employees, and we had to quickly adjust and kind of shift how we operated in both the customer facing side with our channel partners, as well as with our support teams and our R&D teams. So we had to go back and kind of rethink how we approaching remote work, how we approaching those strategies around getting folks back into the office where we can. So some of the things we had to take lessons from our side and look at, okay, we had to work with certain groups within our organization. We call them the CMT group, the Crisis Management Team. And if you think about that, Dennis, we've had a lot of customers that actually have similar teams. They might not call them crisis management teams, but they are made up of individuals that are key to operating the business as a whole, right? So HR, facilities, IT, security. So these folks kind of are what we're hearing from in the field about what help they need from us to help get their people back into the office safely and securely, or how do we help them from a remote perspective? So with that little synopsis there, and we've had several discussions about this, we're looking at different things from control and building access, from mapping out the campuses. So when we talk about a safe return to the office, whenever that point comes, how are you spacing those desks? How are you controlling reservations of conference rooms, making sure there's not too many folks in the conference room at one given time? How do you notify folks around the cafeteria that the cafeteria is over capacity? We need to go to a different location. Avoid. How do you send that mass notification out? Right? How do you use technology to enhance that and make it more streamlined for your employees?
Well, it's almost like technical social distancing in the workplace, right?
Correct. And we've talked about this too. Like we can take another step further, where you're talking about like kind of a passport, like using your HID card, your badge card that you use to get into the building. You can tie that into kind of using a way of making sure your employees verify that they have. From an HR perspective, they've taken the vaccine, or they're not infected, they have no temperature, so on and so forth, before they allowed access to the building. And you can do that through HR applications, CRM tools, and send a notification for them to fill out a form and update it before you allow access to the card reader.
That's pretty cool. Is that all being pushed down by Workspace One today?
Yeah, so it's all tied into the end user computing group solution stack Workspace One. Workspace One Passport enables that functionality. It's tied back into kind of the remote campus, the Workspace One campus application that also helps with notification that ties back to intelligence to drive that CRM integration to be able to have the end user verify their health posture, health status, and then allow access through APIs and update
Very
their
cool.
building and control access. Yep.
So VMware
Yeah.
has certainly taken a visionary role in leveraging some of the different technologies that a lot of our clients have in place today, and just maximizing that investment, making sure clients are getting the best bang, and making sure that we're kind of future proofing the environment as individuals are returning to the office. It's very cool.
Yeah. As they say, drinking our own champagne.
Yes, yes. Another trend that we're hearing a lot about is zero touch enrollment, drop ship factory provisioning, OEM
Yeah.
deployments, things along those lines. How's VMware responding, or does VMware have a solution around drop ship factory provisioning?
Yeah, absolutely. Great talk track there. It kind of leads back into that. How do you ensure your employees have the right tools to be able to do their job? Now they're not technically in the office, and they might not be for the unforeseeable future. What if there is a refresh of a laptop cycle coming up, or they need a new update?
Mm-hmm.
How are you fulfilling that? That's a big need. A lot of our customers have large Windows 10 deployments out there, and they're looking for a streamlined solution. So with Workspace One, we fully support a drop ship factory provision
Very cool.
offering. And with Insight being one of our strategic partners, you can fulfill those devices through Insight. You can configure, provision the XML, the PPKGs. So basically, we've streamlined that whole process through the Workspace One UEM console to be able to fulfill that device over the air and drop ship it to the end user.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think just through the different level of partnerships that Insight has with some of our different OEMs, the level of relationship and partnership that Insight has with VMware, and taking a lot of those benefits, the certifications, the time investments that we've put in place, right? Because a Workspace One engineer, a Horizon engineer is a very, very expensive resource. We all know how expensive it is, and allowing clients to tap into kind of our revolving bench, ensuring that, if we're here from the implementation of it to the installation, all the way to the end, that tribal knowledge of how their environment was built is never walking out the door, or really never leaving, the laptop, so to speak, in regards to where that talent is. Yeah.
And the other aspect, which is great, I mean, you guys have a great managed service model that you offer customers. So that's another thing we've been hearing in the space today. Like our customers, sometimes you have IT staff that they're not large enough, or they don't have big budgets to staff a Workspace One engineer, Horizon engineer, an architect to build it all out, to manage the environment. So sometimes it's just easier to find a managed service solution with a trusted partner that can help them architect, design, roll out, provide day two support. That's very instrumental to a lot of customers, especially with the pandemic we just had this past year. A lot of customers have been asking us, like, who are those partners that we should be talking to about these kinds of managed service models, where we can lift that burden off and pass it on to a trusted partner to help us. So that's a big ask that we've been seeing in the field a lot lately.
Well, we certainly hope it's an ask that we're all betting on, and we're all in on here, certainly here at Insight. So I think that's really where a lot of the passion comes, for me personally, is a lot of the different organizations coming away together in ways that we never have before, and applying and giving our clients together collectively different solutions and offerings that they may have not had before. And when all reality, the large grocery chain store, sorry about that,
No problem.
can focus on their core competency. The healthcare providers can focus on their core competency. Financial institutions focus on that. And then as we come together through mobility and managed services, we're able to offload some of those burdens that they may have under IT, and help supplement the type of work that they have. So
Yeah.
it's certainly an interesting time to come together. But I think that through the partnership between VMware and Insight, there's a lot of good things that we can help some of our partners with today, and most likely our clients.
Absolutely, 100% agree. I think there's a big opportunity ahead of us to drive that business.
Wonderful. Well, Amit, I think we are reaching our time here. So before we get kicked off, we'll want everybody, thanks for joining us. Please check out on April 28th, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be joined by Westerra and their journey to modern IT through Insight and VMware. So it's a webinar that we'll be posting. That webinar will be posted at insight.com/the journey to modern IT. And as always, please feel free to reach out to your Insight team members or your VMware team members. We're always here to help. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.